where we're increasingly unsure whether our Uncle Jeff is a real person or actually a Russian bot. In fairness, it's pretty easy to see why people think we live in a uniquely fact-resistant time. To pick one rather obvious example, right now the USA has a president who tells lies on a daily basis. Or maybe they aren't even lies. Perhaps he simply doesn't know what's true and doesn't care to find out. The effect is roughly the same. According to the Washington Post's fact-checking team, at the time of writing, President Trump had made 10,796 false or misleading claims in the 869 days since he took office, following what they described as a year of unprecedented deception. That's an average of more than 10 untruths every single day, and if anything, the rate of his dishonesty seems to have been increasing as time goes by. He crossed the 5,000 fibs mark thanks to a particularly intense squall of bullshit on the 7th of September 2018, when he made no fewer than 125 false or misleading claims, according to the Post, in a period of time totalling only 120 minutes, which is more than one falsehood every minute. That wasn't even his most dishonest day. That dubious crown is claimed by 5th of November 2018, on the eve of the midterm elections, during which the Post recorded 139 inaccurate claims over the space of 3 campaign rallies. This is, it's fair to say, not especially normal. But does it mean we're living in the age of post-truth? I'm here to say, nope. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to try and convince you that our present time isn't stuffed to bursting with 100,000 flavours of horseshit. It absolutely is. It's just that there's a simple problem with the idea that we live in a post-truth age. It would mean that there was a truth age at some point that we can now be post about. And unfortunately, the evidence for any such age is, patchy, to say the least. The notion that we've recently left behind some sort of golden era of scrupulous honesty and a passionate devotion to accuracy and evidence is, to put it bluntly, a load of old bollocks. Yes, there's an awful lot of nonsense around these days. We all contribute to it in some way, whether it's large or small. We've all passed on an unfounded rumour. We've all clicked that share or retweet button without checking the basics, because whatever it was appealed to our personal biases. But despite what you might have been told, we've been this way for a very, very long time. That's what this book is about. The truth and all of the ingenious ways throughout history that humanity has managed to avoid it. Because none of this is new. Donald Trump is very far from being the first politician to spray falsehoods in every direction like a fucked-up garden sprinkler. We've never needed a Facebook login to spread unverified and spurious rumours from person to person. For as long as there's been a quick buck to be made and gullible people to make it from, there's always been someone willing to get creative with the facts in order to part people from their cash. Of course, defining exactly what the truth is, and what it isn't, has never been as easy as some people might think. Then there are questions like, where does falsehood come from? Is dishonesty inbuilt into humans and human society? Are humans the only creatures that lie? That's what we'll try to get our heads around in the first chapter, The Origin of the Specious, where we'll explore the subtle differences between lies and bullshit, discover the unexpected fact that there are different colours of lie beyond white, and ponder the terrifying reality of just how many more ways there are of being wrong than being right. For several centuries, the news industry has been one of our main sources of information about the world. Journalism, they say, is the first draft of history. But as we'll see, it's often been a terrible first draft, the kind that has editors tearing their hair out. We'll look at the origins of our insatiable desire for news in Chapter 2, Old Fake News, where we'll meet a dead man who wasn't dead and discover that our modern anxieties about untrustworthy news sources and information overload are perhaps not quite as modern as we thought. If the news business had humble origins, it didn't stay that way for long. It quickly expanded into an industry that shaped our societies and our view of the world in profound ways. That doesn't mean it got much more reliable, though. From the Great Moon Hoax of 1835, when the New York Sun sparked a nationwide sensation with a series of entirely fabricated articles about how the famous astronomer Sir John Herschel had discovered a complex civilization living in the moon, to some complete bullshit about bathtubs, the Hitler diaries, and the infamous cat serial killer who stalked Croydon, a lot of what we've read about what's going on in the world has been total nonsense. That's what we'll look at in the third chapter, The Misinformation Age. Not only have we been wrong about what's happening in the world, we've done a terrible job of getting anything right about the world itself.